Red Bull has just dropped a major bombshell, accusing McLaren of further cheating, claiming they've uncovered even more damning evidence. If true, this could turn the 2025 F1 season on its head. But how much of it is fact? And how much is high-stakes psychological warfare? Coming off the Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka, the tension in the paddock has skyrocketed. What started as a technical arms race is now becoming personal. Red Bull isn't just trying to win on the track, they're challenging McLaren's entire approach. And in Formula One, where margins are microscopic, that kind of public accusation can do real damage, even if it's never proven. Let's rewind to just a few weeks ago. McLaren looked like the team to beat. Their MCL39 had pace, consistency, and a driver pairing that many said could take on Max Verstappen. Paddock whispers suggested Red Bull might finally be vulnerable. But, as we've learned time and time again, you don't write off Max Verstappen. Ever. At Suzuka, Verstappen did more than just win. He sent a message. Despite early weekend chaos, a car that was misbehaving in every session, and simulations that were off by miles, Max delivered a masterclass. Pole, victory, dominance. And yet, as impressive as Verstappen's recovery was, the real story may lie under the surface, in the ongoing regulatory tug-of-war and Red Bull's brewing conflict with McLaren. Red Bull claims that McLaren's performance relies too heavily on components that bend, literally. We're talking about flexi-wings, floor flexibility, and possibly some clever gray area interpretations of how much deformation is too much. And that's not just a casual accusation, it's the same kind of hinting that led to massive investigations in the past, from Ferrari's mysterious engine in 2019 to Mercedes's rear-wheel steering in 2020. Now, the FIA has already started to react. New stricter tests on rear wings have been rolled out in China, and front wing tests are coming up in Spain. Red Bull seems confident that these changes will disproportionately affect McLaren. They're essentially saying, "We know what you're doing, and when that loophole closes, we'll be back on top." Christian Horner's remarks were telling. Don't underestimate the effect of race 9. When the field is this tight, a 10th lost is a position lost. That's not just a prediction, that's a warning. But it's not just Red Bull sharpening their knives. Behind the scenes, teams like Ferrari and even Aston Martin are reportedly supplying data and footage to the FIA, quietly pushing for clarity on what's legal. Because here's the thing, in F1, if you can't beat them on track, beat them in the rulebook, and if McLaren is riding the edge of legality, everyone wants the FIA to pull them back. Of course, McLaren has denied any wrongdoing. Andrea Stella remains composed, emphasizing transparency and insisting their design complies with current regulations. But even he hinted at upcoming changes. We'll need to make small adjustments from race 9, but nothing major. Translation? They're prepping for something. And if nothing major turns out to be a couple tenths lost per lap, that's enough to go from winning to watching Max Verstappen's taillights disappear. Let's not forget, while this drama plays out, Verstappen is doing Verstappen things. Winning, outdriving the car, managing tires, strategy, and pressure with the maturity of a multiple world champion. But if you think Red Bull is only leaning on Max, think again. There's a quiet confidence building around Yuki Tsunoda. Promoted to second seat, he hasn't scored yet, but the speed is there. Christian Horner praised his technical feedback and calm under pressure. If Yuki starts stringing together top 6 finishes, Red Bull suddenly has flexibility on strategy, something McLaren doesn't quite have with 2 young drivers still polishing their racecraft. And while all eyes are on McLaren and Red Bull, let's not ignore the big picture. Ferrari is lurking. Charles Leclerc has been consistent. Carlos Sainz is pushing. They may not have the pace to dominate yet, but with the regulatory shift, a surprise podium or two could change their entire trajectory. Mercedes, meanwhile, looks lost, caught between developing this year's car and preparing for 2026's new engine formula. Lewis Hamilton seems frustrated. George Russell is flashing speed, but not results. It's a team in limbo, waiting for the next era. And that's exactly what makes 2025 so thrilling. For the first time in years, we might have a genuine 3- or 4-way fight shaping up. Or McLaren could crumble under pressure, Red Bull could return to dominance, or someone like Ferrari could sneak through the chaos. So what's next? We've got Bahrain and Jeddah, two circuits known for overtaking and strategic risk. Then comes Imola, a track that rewards technical consistency, and finally Spain, where the front wing regulation kicks in and we'll really see if McLaren's advantage was built on legal grounds or clever exploitation. If Red Bull is right and McLaren's performance drops off, expect a domino effect. The media will pounce, the paddock will whisper louder, and suddenly, Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri won't just be racing for wins, they'll be racing to defend their reputation. But if McLaren weathers the storm, if they adjust, adapt, and stay quick, that's a championship-caliber team right there. Whichever way this goes, one thing is clear. The 2025 Formula One season is absolutely on fire. Red Bull has the champion, McLaren may have the car, the FIA has the power, and everyone else, they've got everything to gain and nothing to lose. The fight is wide open, the next chapter is coming fast, and something tells us it's going to get even messier before it gets settled. So what do you think? Is Red Bull genuinely uncovering foul play, or are they just playing the media game better than anyone else? Can McLaren survive the heat, or will the pressure cooker of F1 chew them up like so many before? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, smash that like button, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next twist in this wild season. Thanks for watching. See you at the next race.